Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Barfoot. I'm a senior director with Epicure, and I've had the absolute honor to be with Epicure for a decade. That's right, 10 incredible years. You know what? They say that time flies when you're having fun, and it's absolutely true. So I did a presentation at conference on how to reach $1,000 cooking class, and I've been asked to share that presentation. So I'm just going to take some time to share my presentation that I spoke about at conference. But before I do, for those that don't know me, let me tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, I've been with Epicure for 10 years. So we'll rewind the clock. 10 years ago, what brought me here today? So 10 years ago, I was newly married to my high school sweetheart, Phil. My husband and I, Phil, had just purchased a new home. We were planning on having a new family. So there was a lot of stuff going on. I was working a very traditional job, 9 to 5. I was a graphic designer. And we had a situation which was more month than money. Anybody ever experienced that? More month than money, right? My mother-in-law, Lindy, introduced me to Epicure as a means to share the products as a side gig and to make some extra income. And that's absolutely what it did. It was a very flexible job that fit alongside my full-time job. I shared the products. I really believed in what the company stood for, and it really worked for me. However, within that first year of being with Epicure, Phil and I were blessed to have our first son, Patrick, who is 9 today, or 9 now. And within that first year of business, while I was on mat leave, I went to my first national conference. It was in Toronto that year. And wow, mind blowing. I mean, I was so inspired. I, met and saw these women that were, not just doing Epicure as a side gig, but really their full-time career. They were truly creating their epic lives. They were stay-at-home moms. They were, retirees. They were all sorts of different women truly working a job that they were passionate about and being super, super successful. I couldn't even believe, that our executive directors above were making over $100,000. It just totally inspired me. And I reached up to those, executive directors and national directors, and I asked them, please share, what do I need to do? And I remember one of our national directors, Jacqueline, saying, 8 will make you great. 8 to 10 live cooking classes a month will get you where you need to be. So I've always stuck by that in my head, remembering 8 will make you great. So over my 10 years with Epicure, 8 to 10 live cooking classes a month, reaching for 100 or more a year, I've almost done 1,000 cooking classes. And that's what I want to share about with you guys today, is that, in my time with Epicure, I've come to realize that it takes, just as much time and just as much effort to do a $250 cooking class as it does to do a $1,000 cooking class. I bring the same products, I do the same presentation. So if I'm going to spend 90 minutes in my host's home, I would much rather walk away that evening making $250 in compensation than $60. Wouldn't you? And I'd much rather reward my hostess with over $200 in products at no cost versus $25. Wouldn't you agree? In my experience, I've come to realize that, it's all about working with our hostess. It's how investing in our host and spending as much time, if not more time, on that pre-event than the actual sales event. I've also realized that when we shower our host with over $200 in free products, they are more likely to become your VIH, a very important host. One of those hosts that shouts from the rooftop how amazing her experience is. That host that continually books with you because she had such a great experience. That host that spreads the word to all her friends and family, the benefits of hosting a cooking class with Epicure. So I want to share with you today how I've really changed my mindset to believe that every cooking class is a $1,000 cooking class. Don't think minimums, don't talk minimums, think $1,000 cooking class or more. I'm going to share how spending that time with that host, treating her like your business partner, and really working with her, especially in that pre-event, will really be the key to a successful cooking class. So I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. I have my pre-event, so before the cooking class happens. We have the actual event, so the live sales event, the cooking class demo, and then we have after the cooking class. So we'll start with the pre-event. So before the cooking class, the first thing I'm going to say to you is duplication. And I'm going to say this a lot through my presentation. Duplication, okay? So we're striving for the 10 to 1, 10 bookings, 2 future bookings, 1 prospect to share the business with. When we're working that formula and we're striving for that 10 or more live guests at our cooking class, we want to create what's called the duplication effect. So for example, when I host a cooking class and there's 3 or 4 guests that show, and I get a future booking, what expectation is created for that future booking? To have 3 or 4 guests, right? But when I have a cooking class with 10 or more live 10 or more live guests, that future booking sets an expectation to duplicate what she saw, which is to have 10 or more guests. So it's duplicating what they saw. So the best way to start this is with your next cooking class. Take the tools that you learned from this presentation and implement it in your host coaching right away and strive to have that 10 or more guests at your cooking class. This will create a duplication for your next hostess to, really duplicate what she experienced. Or host your own cooking class. Take the tools you learned today, hostess coach yourself, and have 10 or more new guests at your next cooking class in your own home. And when you receive your future bookings, they will do the same. And I want to tell you a little story about the power of duplication. So it was quite a few years ago with Epicure. I did a party. We used to call them parties back then. It was called a tasting party. And we would set up in the, usually in the hostess's living room. We would do a presentation, then we would all move to the kitchen and we would do a tasting. So I remember showing up at this hostess's home and I went to her living room and she had cleared like every piece of furniture out of her living room and it had chairs. Every chair I think she owned in her home, and I think she even took the chairs from the neighbor's house, and she had lined them all up row by row. And at the front of the room was a table where I would do the presentation. It was like a classroom. It was hilarious. I remember thinking, wow, this is really odd, but I went with it. I honored my host and I did the party. And I got a future booking. And when I went to do that future bookings show, guess how she set her living room up? That's right. All the chairs were set row by row. And I thought, wow, hostesses duplicate what they experience. So it's so important that we work on that hostess coaching. So power of duplication is huge. So let's talk a little bit about the hostess coaching. So they are our business partner. They truly are the key to a successful cooking class. I start with my hostess letter. And what's really cool is you can download a template of your hostess letter on the Epicure University and really customize it to your personality. I like to break it down into 5 steps for success. And you'll notice these 5 steps are on the new hostess envelope. So you can use that envelope to coach your hostess. So the 5 steps are: 1, invite your guests; 2, gather ingredients; 3, collect pre-orders; 4, remind guests; and 5, host an amazing cooking class and pick out your host rewards. So first I do my hostess coaching usually with my first hostess coaching is done on that initial booking. So which usually happens at the cooking class. If it happens outside the cooking class, I will make sure within 24 hours we have a touch base, whether it's a phone call or a live one-to-one, that I can sit down and really do a recap of those 5 steps with her. If at a cooking class I get more than 1 booking, so if you get 2 or 3, I like to, if I can, try to group them together and take 5-10 minutes right there at the cooking class and hostess coach them together. Always take the time to do this. Sometimes our cooking classes, it can get really busy and people are waiting. However, I always take that 5 minutes with the future hostess to do an initial booking. And even if I have, guests there tapping their foot because they're wanting to get out, the way I see it is this future host is my future business. I'm going to take the time to work with her because maybe if you have a customer waiting impatiently, she probably isn't booking with you. she's not my future business like this lady is or this gentleman. So take the time to, to hostess coach on that initial booking. Do I have a set time I do my hostess coaching? Everybody does it different. Sometimes people do a set day every week. It's really just finding what works for you and your schedule. I just really like to build a relationship with my host. So I'm always keeping a touch base, whether it's text or Facebook, using the Facebook group that I create. It's all about creating a relationship and working with your hostess. So finding time in your schedule to work with her is really important. And you can also tell usually by the interaction of your hostess. So when I create a Facebook event, if she is inviting her friends right away, if she's liking my posts, if she's sharing, I can tell she's engaged. If she's not inviting right away, if she's not liking, I'll red flag her. And that might mean that I need to put an extra touch-based phone call in there. So you can really read your hostess and the engagement that she's involved. The coolest part is that hostess coaching can be done anywhere. I always say a woman with a smartphone can run a business. So it can be when you're, at the dentist office with the kids, you could be doing a quick post on her Facebook event or sending her a quick touch-based message. It's pretty cool that you can do your hostess coaching anywhere. So step number 1 is to invite her guests. So this to me is really about teaching her who and how to invite. I always like to say to her, you know what, Sally, sometimes when we host a home show, we think, who can I invite that will come and purchase? I really want you to think a little differently with Epicure. We are so much more than that. I want you to think about who do you know that Epicure can help? And I'll usually open up the catalog at that point and I'll say, by looking at this never ever list, who do you know that really cares about what's in their products or maybe what's not in their products? And as you can see, our never ever list is absolutely incredible. None of these products will ever be an Epicure. Maybe who do you know that has a gluten sensitivity or a celiac? Our products are 100% gluten-free. How about somebody with a nut allergy? Or who do you know that's super busy and needs our quick, easy meal solutions? Or who do you know that needs a night out and a glass of wine with the girls? Honestly, I really want you to think of how Epicure can benefit your friends, and that's how we're going to invite them. So you can use the new hostess envelope. It's got a really great guest planner on there, and review that with your host and help her start thinking outside of her, maybe initial friend and family circle. A lot of times they think of just that one group. You could even photocopy the 12 social circles that's in your career launch workbook. That's really great to help them expand outside of that one circle. Share that you're going to create a Facebook event for them. So you're going to support them in inviting by creating the event for them. I believe that by creating it, setting up the event ourselves, it provides a service to our host to make her cooking class that much easier and rewarding. I also like to be in control of the Facebook event. When we create it, we're in control of how we show up. So what pictures are used, what verbiage is used. And as an example, I had hostesses in the past do it themselves, and sometimes they would call it a party, and they would use like the cheese dip picture. And I really feel that we're so much more. I want them to know it's a cooking class. I want them to see more than just dip blends. So when we create it, we're in control of how the initial invite of Epicure, how Epicure shows up to them, how we are represented as a business entrepreneur. So I really find that's important. I create the event, I make her the admin, and then I encourage her to invite her friends. And I'll take just a minute and I'll speak to her about this. I'll say, I'm going to create the event for you. I'm going to make it super fun. I'm going to do some great posts on there. But I am going to say Facebook's an amazing tool, but it's very impersonable. So in order to have great success with this, I encourage you to invite your friends using the social circles or the guest planner and think of who Epicure can help. Invite those friends on the Facebook event, no more than 50. And the reason for this is when we go over 50, a lot of times your guests will just feel like a number. Give her an example. Say, hey, have you ever been invited to a party via Facebook and you've noticed your friends invited like 100 or 200 people? How does that make you feel? Usually she says, I just feel like a number, or I feel like Sally just wants to get a bunch of free bags. Exactly. So Epicure is way more than that. Invite your friends. Then the biggest trick and secret to this is to then personally message each one of these guests. Whether it's a phone call, a Facebook message, as long as it's a one-to-one message, not a group mass post. And it would say something like, hey Sally, did you see I invited you to my Epicure cooking class? I thought of you because, then insert the reason. I hope you can come. It won't be the same without you. If you didn't see the link, here it is, and then post the link. And then what I share with my hostess at this point is that I'm going to support her by sending her some verbiage, some scripts. And what I've done just in a Word file is I've created various scripts on how to invite her friends, and then she can copy and paste and customize it for each person. Because it's not that our hostesses don't want to have 10 or more guests there. A lot of times it's just that they don't know how. And we're the expert. Whether you've been in the business for a month or for 20 years, we are the expert to them. So let's share some verbiage and some scripts to really support them. I have had people ask me for my scripts. And you know what? I feel that this is something that you really want to use your own personality. We don't want to have a generic script for all of our hostesses or we'll all sound the same. And you're all unique. You all have different personalities. So really infuse that into your scripts. All right. Okay, so here we are. So, okay, next thing is inviting guests. I always do incentives. And that's me infusing my personality because I love incentives. My upline calls me the biggest carrot grabber. You dangle that carrot, I want it. So I love to share that with my guests, my hosts. So the first incentive will be for my guests, and I'll share this with the host that I'm going to do this and encourage her to spread the word. So on the Facebook group, I'm going to post an incentive for all guests. So any guests that come and bring a new friend, bring a new friend with you to the cooking class, and I'm going to give you can either do a little gift or I do extra ballots into a special draw that I'm going to do that evening. Then I do an incentive for my host, which is to have 10 guests, and I'll bring her a special gift to her cooking class. I've learned that it's not about the actual gift. It's about how we present it. It's all about making it special. I always like to, instead of just handing over a product, wrap it up. Here's an example of one that I would do. So put some, fancy cellophane, do a bow, wrap it up in wrapping paper, put it in a gift bag, whatever it is that you're presenting it, that it looks like a gift, not just handing a product, okay? And it's about making that moment special. I'll usually do it at the beginning of my presentation, and I'll share what the incentive was, and I'd say something like, Sally, I gave her an incentive to have 10 fabulous friends here today, and as you can see, she did it. She's absolutely amazing. She really wanted you guys to learn about Epicure's meal solutions and how it can benefit each and every one of you. So as my gratitude to her, I'd like to present her with this gift for reaching my challenge and say, come on up, Sally, come grab it. Everybody give her a round of applause and make it like really special. A lot of women don't get recognition, so this could be a really big thing for her. And it also creates duplication. Those future bookings are going to see that. They're going to see the incentive. They're going to see that moment and the appreciation that we share, and they're going to duplicate the same. All right, so number 2 is about gathering ingredients. So this is the cooking class menu, and my biggest advice on this section is to keep it simple. I'm going to share with you in a little bit in my presentation how come keeping it super simple with your menu is so, so important. And I truly feel that this is one of the key elements to having high cooking class sales. So I will get back to this. But in this section in my hostess coaching I really hostess coach her on the menu. I coach her on what to supply and how and why to keep it simple. During the initial booking, I'm just going to give her a few options that I'm offering that season. And I'll say, you don't have to decide tonight, take it home, think about it. And then I'm going to touch base with you and find out which menu you would like, and we'll go from there. So once she's decided on her menu, I'm going to coach her on what items to supply, I'm going to ask her to really encourage her to not worry about preparing any extras. Encourage her that what we have set for the menu will be more than enough for everybody to sample. You know, I swear North American women's #1 fear is that we're going to run out of food. So encourage her, there'll be more than enough for everyone to sample. And I'll usually say to her, you know what I find in my experience, that when I've had hostesses supply a lot of extras outside of our menu, it can actually be super overwhelming for your friends. They won't know what goes with what and what's Epicure, and a lot of times they can be overwhelmed. I also find too, sometimes your friends may be interested in booking their own cooking class. However, it sets an expectation that they need to supply extras, and they may not have the time or maybe even the means to do that. Don't worry, we're gonna have a ton of food with the menu that I've got planned for you guys. So this is really big with duplication as well, because, you know, have you ever asked a host to supply, you know, a small bowl of carrots and she supplies a ginormous veggie tray? Yeah, it sets an expectation for the next host, and it actually may deter bookings. So really go over that menu with her. However, if you have a host that, you know, really is adamant that she wants to make something extra, you know, we need to honor our host, and it is her evening. So I would say, you know what, absolutely. You know, if you would like to, again, you don't need to, but if you really would like to make that for your friends, I really honor that. And if you could just set it out after the cooking class portion's done, that would be awesome. So then the night of the cooking class, let's say we're doing a Mexican class. Once the class is all wrapped up, the cooking, I'll say, all right, so that's our Mexican cooking class. Isn't that easy? How good is that? So over here, Sally is actually going to bring out her, you know, famous banana bread. We all know she loves to bake. Honor her, you know, really respect her, and just say, you know, that's just something extra that she's made for all of you. So, you know, we just really want to thank her. It is her evening, right? So number 3, collecting pre-orders. So what I'm going to say here is to really be generous with the tools. Okay, I've heard many times consultants, you know, really being scared to give a lot of catalogs because they do cost money, but be generous with the tools. If she only has 2 catalogs and a couple order forms, she's only going to collect a couple orders. So be very generous. 4, 5, if not even more catalogs. And all I do is I say to my host, you know, I'm really going to invest in and be generous with lots of catalogs for you. All I ask is if you could, you know, gather them up a day or 2 before the cooking class and bring them, and we'll use them that evening. By saying that, she really respects that. And I also find with that verbiage I just used, sometimes they feel they better gather them or else there's not going to be any cooking or catalogs the evening of her class. So they're usually always there. So be generous, because she's going to want a book to go through. She's going to want to give one to her neighbor. She's going to want to bring a couple to work. Like, be generous and give lots of order forms, 6, 7, 8, because that's the expectation for 6, 7, 8 or more pre-orders. Share with her who and how to collect pre-orders. So say, you know, your coworkers are a great avenue to share Epicure with. I encourage you to bring a couple books, maybe even a few samples. Here's the order form. This is how they fill it out, or I'm going to send you the quick cooking class link and they can go right on and do their shopping right away. Share with her how to collect from those that say no and maybe. No is an obvious. If they can't come, teach her how to share the online link or the catalog. But the maybes, a lot of times the host doesn't think about the maybe. And I say, you know what, you're going to get people that say maybe, especially in your Facebook event. I encourage you to reach out to them. In the scripts I've sent you, there's one on how to reach out to the maybes. And it says something like, you know, hey, Sally, I saw that you were a maybe on my Epicure cooking class. Really hope you can come. You know, I'd love to see you. However, what do you think about me sending you the catalog? You can put together a pre-order. Then the evening of the cooking class, if you can't come, I'll put your order in on your behalf. However, if you can, which I hope you can have your order back and you can change or adjust it. A lot of times a maybe is a no, unfortunately. So by teaching your hostess how to reach out to those maybes and collect those pre-orders, you'll be amazed at how many extra orders she has. Especially now with the new Epicure 2.0, which is amazing. The cooking class automatically closes 3 days after, so we really want to focus and spend time with our host on that pre-event and collecting pre-orders, not scrambling after to try to collect those orders. Use your Facebook event as a medium here to help her with collecting pre-orders. Post the shopping link. Post instructions on how easy it is to shop through the shopping link. You can even post the Epicure shopping slides that Epicure provides us. Everybody shops different. Some are going to want a paper catalog that the hostess has. Some are going to want to go through the online catalog. Some of them are going to want to just look at the pretty slides and comment what items they are. Give people options and make it super simple for them. Also share with your host how to shop between the season or a sale. For example, if there is an amazing sale going on this month right now, and next month is her cooking class, I would go onto the Facebook event, I would post the special, and I'd say, hey, I know Sally's cooking class isn't till next month, but guess what? You can take advantage of these epic sales right now. Here's the link. And you can still attend her show next month and take advantage of the amazing options I have next month for you. Or for example, let's say a hostess books in December. She books in December, but her show isn't till January. What you could do is share with her that she can share the current catalog in December, collect orders right now for the holiday season, and then in January, her guests can still attend her cooking class and take advantage of our brand new catalog for the new year. Okay, so as long as it's done within those 30 days, you can shop between months and between sales and seasons. Next is my incentive, my carrot grabber. So to incentivize my guests, and I will share this with the host as well and encourage her to spread the word, is I'm going to post on that Facebook event and incentivize the guests to bring an outside order. So maybe they have a friend or a family member or somebody out of town. If they bring a pre-order with them, they'll get extra ballots into the draw that I do at my cooking class. Then my incentive for my host is to collect a certain amount of pre-orders, and she'll receive an extra special gift from me at the cooking class. The amount of pre-orders really just depends on the hostess. I don't have a set amount because every host is different. I may have a host that's brand new to a community and doesn't know a lot of people, and I really want her focusing on bringing people to her class. So I'm not going to give her a huge amount of pre-orders to collect because she just doesn't know enough people yet. I may set hers at $100. But then my next host, she may be well known in the community or work somewhere where there's a lot of coworkers. I may set hers at $250. So the amount of pre-orders and the gift that I give really just depends on the host, and I customize it accordingly. All right, number 4. So remind those guests 2 days prior to the cooking class. This is essential to the success of your cooking class. Do you ever get that phone call from the dentist saying, hey, just a reminder, your kids have a dentist appointment tomorrow, and you're like, oh my gosh, thank gosh you called me, or I totally forgot. It's been a lifesaver for me. So I really feel that this is important for our hostesses. Share that with them. Share a story so that they can see the importance and say, I really encourage you to send out a few messages to your friends, whether it's phone call or text message, as long as it's a one-to-one, not a group post. And just, get them excited for your event. Remind them of the time and the address. And this will give you your opportunity for those that may say maybe a no or a maybe, that you can collect that pre-order. Also, I missed a point. I want to go back to those pre-orders. I also coach and share with my hostess how to collect from those that live out of town or province. Many of our hostesses don't realize that our products ship anywhere in Canada. So share with her. You may have friends or family that live out of town or province. Please be sure to share the event with them. And in the document or the sheet I'm going to send you with different scripts, there's some ideas of how to speak to them. So the example of the script would be, hey, Aunt Susan, I'm going to invite you to my Epicure cooking class via Facebook. I know you won't be able to come unless you can jump on a flight tomorrow, LOL, but I'm inviting you because. So insert the reason. I'm inviting you because I know how busy you are with the kids in hockey, and Epicure has these amazing meal solutions I think you'll benefit from. You can check out the online shopping link. And if you didn't see the invite, here's the link again, and paste it. So teach her how to share Epicure with those that live out of town or province. You can also share on your Facebook event For those that live out of town, did you know that I can host Facebook cooking classes anywhere in Canada? Cool, eh? All right, so we're back to reminding the guests. Sorry, I missed that part. So we're going to encourage our host to do phone calls or text messages to each one of her guests. We're going to use that Facebook event to get your guests excited. So different posts I do on that Facebook event. It's all about building excitement and creating a relationship with your guests before you meet them. So I have a Word file I've created for myself, and it's got a whole bunch of different posts. And so instead of recreating the wheel for every class I do, I'll go to my document, I'll find a post, I'll copy and I'll paste it along with the corresponding image. So usually I'll do something inspirational, I'll do something funny, I'll do something educational, and I'm not going to overwhelm them, but I'm going to keep them engaged from the time the host books until the class, so that by the time the event happens, they feel like they know me already. I'm also going to pop on Facebook Live, and I'll do some different things to introduce myself. I love doing an Epicure Live before I leave for the cooking class that evening. I'll usually pop on to Facebook Live. I'll share what I'm making for my kids for dinner, which is always Epicure. And I think it really shows them that Epicure is not just a business, it's a lifestyle. I'm not there to just sell. I'm there to share something I truly believe in, that you can create quick, easy meals for your family on the go when you're busy, and it's delicious. So I'll share what I'm making for dinner before I head out the door. And so things like that, get them to really know you, build a relationship with your guests. You can post teaser pictures. So an example for the summer, I've been doing a lot of the veggie burger classes. I make my quinoa in my steamer and I bring it to my class. So when I've made the quinoa, I'll take a picture of it and I'll say something like, hey, can anyone guess what I'm going to use this for in our cooking class tonight? So kind of leave them hanging with pictures like that. And the last thing on our host letter is number 5, host an amazing cooking class and pick out your rewards. Easy, right? This part to me is about creating a vision. So I'm going to ask the host at this point is, I just want to, for fun or just curious, what got you to book with me? What jazzed you and got you excited? Is it the free products? Is there certain things on your list you're excited about? Is it, the health benefits? Is it the social aspect? You just need a night out with the girls? What is your main why or how come to book with me? And have that conversation, because then you're going to know how to speak to her. If it is solely the health benefits, talking free products till you're blue in the face isn't going to attract her. You want to speak her language. So maybe talking about our enhanced nutrition line. Speak about how Epicure can benefit her friends. Speak to her on the health benefits. If it's free products, awesome. Have her list her top items that she wants and show her how to get there. If it's the social aspect, talk more about the fun you're going to have and maybe have a fun cocktail or really speak the language of her why. But no matter what her why is, if it's the health benefits, is it the social, if it's the free, or if it's everything, which a lot of times it is, always show her how to get to a $1,000 cooking class. And I'll say, just for fun, $1,000 cooking class is our sweet spot. And I would love to show you how to get there. It's not that she doesn't want a $1,000 cooking class, it's that she doesn't know how. So we are there to teach them. So I would say, let me show you how to get to the sweet spot by hosting just exactly what we quickly reviewed here. It's all about having 10 or more live guests at your cooking class, encouraging them to bring a friend, working on our outside orders, our pre-orders, and if we can collect X amount, this is all going to support you in reaching that sweet spot. And oh my gosh, look what it could do. Think of how many of your friends it could benefit. Think of all the amazing enhanced nutrition, healthy products you can get in your pantry. Or, oh my gosh, you'll be able to get that multi-pot and the steamer and the Mexican kit that was on your wish list. So speak her language. All right, that is the pre-event. Can you see how much time I spend on that? That is the bulk of the success of a $1,000 cooking class. But now let's get to the cooking class. So now here we are at the cooking class. And I told you I would touch base on my menu and why and how come I truly believe to keep it super simple. When there's too many components and we do, one item out of this collection and one item out of this collection and we do this and we do this and we do this and we do this, People are overwhelmed. Too many components, too many decisions, and a lot of times they just shut down and say no. Or if we do the guacamole out of the Mexican and we do this out of this and this out of this and this out of this, they'll buy one item, one item, one item, one item, and it equals $30. I truly believe on focusing on a $75 price point with a collection, always, always a collection, and glorifying that collection, showing them the value of a collection, along with a high-priced cookware piece, so steamer, frying pan, and then add-ons like the mandolin, the citrus press, etc. Always going for that grouping of $75 to help them reach the customer spend and save. Using that spend and save in your cooking classes that month, showing it, glorifying it, romancing it so that every guest wants that customer special on their list. All right, sorry about that. All right, so always a $75 price point, always glorifying and reaching that spend and save. Collection, always a collection, a high-priced cookware piece, and the add-ons. You know, my favorite season right now for the summer, I'm loving the summer survival kit. So I bring the whole summer survival. That's all I bring, along with a cookware piece and a few add-ons. It's been huge, amazing. So visually show them as well what a $75 order looks like. So they get really excited about the spend and save. I'll say, you know how easy it is, ladies? All you need to do is this collection with your steamer, bang, you're at $75, you can get that spend and save. So actually visually show them that $75 order. Use testimonials. We all love our spices, our 3 onion, our guac. However, we only have so much time in our cooking class. So instead of focusing on testimonials on our $7.50 and $9 items, I like to focus it on our higher priced cookware pieces. So who has a steamer? Awesome, tell me about it. What are you cooking in it? Who has the citrus press? Who has the mandolin? Speak cookware and have them do testimonials. Testimonials are huge. People are more apt to purchase what their friend likes and has than what we share. Because of course we love everything, right? Give them us versus them and items that you would find in an everyday pantry. Show them that we are grocery shopping. Show them how they can epicurize their everyday pantry basics into Epicure. This is really big. A lot of women and men will come to a home show, and it's usually a luxury item. Maybe it's jewelry or something extra. It's a luxury item. I share with them that, ladies, tonight, or gentlemen, this is grocery shopping. Please know that this isn't a luxury item. This is food. This is staples for your kitchen to help make your meal prep, your planning, and your groceries and your meals that much easier and simpler for your family. Here's a few examples. And then show them some us versus them, whether it's our chicken bouillon, it's our taco seasoning, it's a craft dinner versus our mac and cheese. Give them some pantry basics that are commonly found in every Canadian household and how they can epicurize it. Give them the okay to do some shopping that evening. And share a story. I like to share one. I had a lady at a cooking class once, and she had quite a long grocery list. And she came up to the checkout and she said to me, oh my gosh, Carrie, could you ship all of this to Susan's house, and I'm just going to take it home little by little so my husband doesn't see how much I spent? And I said, absolutely, I can do anything you'd like. However, I have a question for you. How do you get your groceries from your car into your kitchen? And she stopped and she said, oh my gosh, you're totally right. This is groceries. This is food for my family. Just ship it to my house. So giving them the okay that it's grocery shopping, and say that's exactly what you're doing tonight, ladies. Instead of pushing that cart down the fluorescent lighted aisles of the grocery store, trying to find everything you need, you get to do it here in Susan's kitchen with a glass of wine. Choose our meal kits, whether your family wants Mexican, Greek, Italian, or all of it. You are meal planning and you are grocery shopping tonight with Epicure. Make their shopping simple. This is where my personality comes in. Is I think of myself as a customer. When I go to a friend's home show, I want to socialize, I want to have a glass of wine, and I want to just get the key items that she shared and that I got excited about. I don't honestly want to spend my whole evening going through a whole catalog. I want the catalog to take home and go through for future shopping, but that night, I want to keep it simple. So that's what I do for my customers, is I always have a quick reference shopping slip. On there, I highlight the key items that I'm sharing that season. So this would be an example here is a quick reference shopping list. So on this side, just little check marks, is I would have the key items that I'm sharing that season. So right now we're in the summer. I've got the summer kit, the steamer, grill kit, burger kit, mandolin, and the key items that I shared during my cooking class. Then I've got their information and a wish list. I find a lot of customers will just go, okay, tonight we did this, check, 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 and they give me that little slip. Keep their shopping super simple. That is a key, I find, because some people don't want to spend all night going through a catalog. You will get some that do, but if you can keep their shopping super simple and easy, this is an element. This is also why I always keep it to a collection. When I can say to them, if you loved what we did tonight, honestly, ladies, all you need to do is get the summer survival and a steamer and you're ready to go. Or all you need to do is get that Mexican kit, a steamer, and if you want to add on that citrus press, awesome. Plus, you'll be able to get the customer spend and save. Keep it simple. Instead of saying, well, you're going to need the guacamole from here and the shish kebab from here, and you're going to need this and this and this and this. Oh my gosh, too much, they'll just say no. Then there's the upsell, or what I call the service at a checkout. Take the time with every single guest. Don't skip this. Give service and don't prejudge or assume that they've spent as much as they want to. For example, when they come up with their list, I will review every item before I pull out a calculator or start entering it onto my computer. I'll say things like, oh, I've noticed here you've gotten the fajita and the guacamole. Did you see our Mexican kit that I featured tonight? It's really one of your best investments because you'll get all the components of the cooking class that I shared, plus 5 different recipes to make meals, 40 servings under $40. A lot of times they will up their order to the collection, and if it's not their price point, they'll just say no thank you. But there's nothing worse than a customer getting home, getting their products, and then calling me and saying, I'm trying to make that meal you did the other night, but I don't think I have everything I need. And that's on me because I didn't offer the service to make sure she had everything she needed. Or she purchased a cruet without a funnel, or a cruet without the 4-in-1 spice spoon. Always be sure to share suggestions and add a service or an upsell to make sure your customer has everything she needs. I also like to have little extra impulse buys. We've all been grocery shopping and they have all those little items at the end by the checkout, or you go to Winners or you go to Michael's, they have all those little items while you're waiting in line. Same thing, I will have some items at my checkout. One of my favorites is I take the meal solutions and I just have them on a ring and I have them sit. I have them throughout the cooking class, but I always bring them to my checkout. And these are a great little add-on, especially if she's at, $65, by purchasing one meal solution collection, she can get up to that $75 price point. I'll usually have the 4-in-1 spice spoon there. I love having the citrus press. I know it's a over $20 item. However, it's a fun tool. They'll be playing with it. They'll be looking at it. A lot of times they'll add that onto their order. So impulse buys at the checkout. I always have the customer special spend and save at the checkout with me. So I'm using it throughout my cooking class. I've got it on display, but I always pick it up and bring it with me to the checkout so that it's that last visual look at it to, encourage them or get them excited to have that on their list as a goal. All right, so that is my cooking class. Now I'm going to talk about after the cooking class. So I'm going to go back to that Facebook event, and I always like to post pictures either that night or the next morning about pictures that we did that evening. So take the time during your cooking class to snap some pictures and share with the guests. I'm just going to take a couple pictures for the host. I'm going to post it on her private Facebook group because she's so busy tonight. We want to make sure that she can capture these moments. And then take pictures of her friends, of the food, of the fun, and show gratitude to your host and really thank her and put those pictures up there for her. Share with the guests that it's in that private group, so no need to worry. However, if you've got some great pictures that you'd love to share on social media on your Facebook page, just ask those customers that you took pictures of, would you mind? This is such a fantastic picture of you, and it really shows the, how amazing these cooking classes are. I would love to be able to post this on a business page. Are you comfortable with that? So just ask for permission. Use that Facebook group to share that there's still time to shop. So you've collected all the orders from the guests at the cooking class. You really want them in that evening, especially with the new Epicure 2.0. You can process and have those orders out right away. But share with those guests that didn't show, there'll always be no-shows, that there's still time to shop. Post the online catalog and shopping link and make it super easy for the guests. Repost it. Instead of them having to go through the whole event to try to find it, repost it and put it right at the top. You can even pin it to the top. Tell the hostess to tag her friends on there, and also share with the hostess how to reach out to those guests that didn't show or any other people she can think of that would enjoy Epicure, and that she can share that shopping link or send you the orders. And I do like to tell my hostess that it closes within 2 days. I know it's 3, but I like to give that 1-day buffer. All right, and just for fun, this is something I love to do before I leave the hostess's cooking class, is I like to show her what the next level looks like. So I'll just take a piece of paper, and on the one side of the piece of paper, I will share what our host benefits look like at the moment. And I'll say, I always show gratitude no matter what the level is. So I could say, oh my gosh, Susan, what an awesome cooking class. So tonight you reached this level, and this is what your host benefits look like. Amazing. Did you have fun? Are you happy with that? Awesome. So just for fun, I want to show you what the next level looks like. So draw a line down the piece of paper, and on the next column, you're going to show the next level. So if she's at an $800 show, I'll show her what $1,000 looks like. If she's at a $500, I'll show her what $750. Even if it's $200-$300 away, I always show them just for fun, because you never know. So I'll say, all right, this is the next level, and this is how much we would need to get there, and this is how your host benefits will change. You will be amazed. Some hostesses are happy with where they're at. Some of them are those carrot grabbers, and they will hustle the next few days, and they'll get themselves to that next level. So just for fun, give that a try. All right, so, pretty easy, right? I shared with you in my presentation, all about keeping it simple. Have fun. Have fun working with your host and building excitement using that Facebook event. Spending just as much time, if not more time, on your pre-event than the actual sales event. I showed you how to break it down into 3 easy sections: your pre-event, your cooking class event, and your after event. And also encouraging you to really look at your mindset, to believe that $1,000 cooking classes are normal. Every cooking class is $1,000. Don't think or talk minimums. Believe in your host. Invest the time in him or her. Oh, I always say to my team, when you can conceive that, conceive that $1,000 cooking class, and then you believe it to be true and it can happen, you will achieve it. Conceive it, believe it, achieve it. So I'm going to ask you, who is going to have a $1,000 cooking class? All of you, right? So thank you for, taking some time to listen to my presentation, and thank you to all of you that were at conference. I got to be there live. I hope that I've shared some tips and some nuggets to support you in the success of your cooking classes, and have fun and keep it super simple. Take care, everybody.